I'm not a replacement, Zhang Linghe tells Bai Lu to choose once and for all. The sun had long set over the city, but inside the penthouse overlooking the skyline, the air was far from peaceful. Zhang Linghe stood in the middle of the living room, his fists clenched, his voice shaking, not from anger, but from something far more terrifying, heartbreak. Bai Lu, dressed in a simple grey sweater and sweatpants, sat quietly on the velvet couch, her eyes wide, her heart racing. She knew this moment would come. But not like this. Not with Linghe holding her phone, screen lit up with a name she hadn't dared to delete, Dylan Wang. The silence screamed. I waited, Zhang Linghe finally said, his voice raw, not loud, but sharp enough to cut bone. I waited for you to be fully mine. I waited through your tears on our wedding night. Through every time you flinched at my touch. Through every time you said Dylan's name in your sleep. Bai Lu's lips parted, but no words came. I told myself it was just memories, Linghe continued. That we all have ghosts. But you're not haunted, Lu. You're still in love with him. The words hit her like a slap. And yet, she couldn't deny it. Not entirely. Flashback, 2 months earlier. The premiere night of Shen Yue's new drama had everyone talking. But it was Bai Lu's accidental reunion with Dylan backstage that made headlines for weeks. Caught on a hot mic, their interaction was only 3 words. Dylan, you look tired. Bailu, I never slept again after you left. It was enough. The spark in Dylan's eyes, the tremble in Bai Lu's voice. Zhang Linghe had watched the clip from his car. Twice. Then 10 more times. And he never said a word. Until now. Present day. I'm not asking if you loved him, Linghe said, taking a step closer. I'm asking if you still do. Bai Lu swallowed hard. It's complicated. No. It's not, he snapped, then immediately softened. I have never asked you for anything except honesty. But now, I'm begging. Don't lie to me anymore. Her hands trembled. I chose you, Linghe. I married you. But did your heart? His voice cracked. Tears slipped from her eyes before she could stop them. She stood, walked toward him, but he took a step back. I'm not a rebound, he whispered. I'm not your shelter. And I refuse to spend the rest of my life wondering if I'm just second best. Linghe. He turned his back to her, staring out the window. Choose. Right now. Me? Or whatever you still feel for Dylan. But you can't have both. Scene shift, years ago. Before she ever wore a ring, before Dylan walked away to be with Shen Yue, there was a night. Bai Lu and Dylan, both young and on fire, had stood on a rooftop after wrapping their drama. The moonlight lit her face as she asked, what if we are not ready for forever? And Dylan had kissed her anyway. Then we make mistakes together, he said. But that never happened. A month later, he announced his engagement to Shen Yue. And Bai Lu disappeared from the public for 6 weeks. No one knew where she went. Not even Linghe. Scene shift, back to the penthouse. I thought I healed, Bai Lu whispered, standing behind Linghe. I thought marrying you would silence everything I felt for him. He turned slowly, eyes red. Did it? No. The word landed like a grenade. But you made me feel safe, she added quickly. You saw all my cracks and loved me anyway. No one's ever done that. Not even Dylan. Linghe's expression twisted. I don't want to be safe, Lu. I want to be your choice. Your passion. Your now. Not your backup plan because he chose someone else. Her knees gave way. She sank to the floor, sobbing. I don't know how to stop loving him, she cried. But I don't know how to live without you either. Linghe crouched in front of her, gripping her arms. Then you're going to have to decide which pain you can survive. The one that never healed, or the one you'll cause by walking away from me. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. They froze. Bai Lu wiped her tears. Linghe stood slowly and opened the door. It was Dylan. Scene cut, chaos unleashed. The hallway lights bathed Dylan in a cold glow. He looked exhausted, drained, unlike the man the world knew. I didn't come to cause trouble, he said. I came to ask her one last question. Linghe looked ready to punch him. Now? After all this time? Dylan's gaze flickered past him to Bai Lu, still on the floor, still crying. Do you still love me? The silence was unbearable. Answer him, Linghe said softly. And no, whatever you say will change everything. Bai Lu stood. Wobbling slightly, she looked at Dylan with eyes filled with years of suppressed pain. You left, she said. You walked away. And I spent every night wondering why I wasn't enough. I thought it was the right thing, Dylan said. Shen Yue, she was pregnant. I didn't even know at first. I had to be there. Bai Lu gasped. Linghe stepped back. You had a baby with her? Bai Lu whispered. Dylan nodded. A daughter. She's 4. Zhang Linghe's expression turned cold. And now you want Bai Lu back? After destroying her, after marrying someone else, raising a child, now you remember she mattered. I never forgot, Dylan said, voice low. But I gave up everything to do the right thing. I don't know if that makes me noble or a coward. But I never stopped loving her. Bai Lu's knees buckled again. Zhang Linghe caught her before she hit the floor. Dylan stepped forward. Let me talk to her alone. No, Linghe pulled her closer. She's not yours to command anymore. But Bai Lu looked up, trembling. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Zhang Linghe stared at her. Pain. Fury. And then, silence. He nodded. 10 minutes. And when I come back, choose. The moment Zhang Linghe shut the door behind him, the room shrank around Bai Lu and Dylan. The air felt heavier, thick with everything unsaid. For years, she had rehearsed this scene in her head, imagining what she would say if Dylan ever returned. But now that he was standing in front of her, everything collapsed. You had a child, she whispered again, disbelief still written all over her face. A whole daughter. And you didn't tell me. I wanted to, Dylan said. I drafted so many messages. But what would I say? Hey, sorry for disappearing. I had a baby with someone else. I couldn't do that to you. You already did. Her voice was trembling but sharp. Dylan took a cautious step closer, searching her eyes. Shen Yue didn't know she was pregnant when I left you, he said. We were already over. I only found out months later, and when I did, I couldn't walk away from that responsibility. And what about me? Bai Lu said, rising to her feet. You could walk away from me without a word. You could let me spiral, let me question my entire worth, let me blame myself every day for something you never even gave me the chance to fight for. Dylan didn't respond. She took another step, face flushed. You left, Dylan. And Zhang Linghe, he picked up every shattered piece you left behind. Every night I woke up screaming, every time I saw our old drama playing on TV and broke down, every event I had to cancel because I couldn't stand to smile, he was there. Her voice cracked. And now you think you can just come back and ask if I still love you. What do you want me to say? Dylan's eyes welled with something terrifying, remorse. I don't expect forgiveness, he said. And I sure as hell don't expect you to forget. But I had to see you. I had to say it in person. I'm still in love with you. A tear slipped from her cheek. You don't get to say that. He moved closer, his voice barely a breath. I didn't stop dreaming about you. Even when I held my daughter, even when I watched Shen Yue sleep, I never stopped wishing it was you. Bai Lu's eyes widened. Dylan reached into his coat pocket and pulled out something small. A broken jade ring. You threw this at me the night we fought, he said. But I never let it go. Her breath hitched. It was true. That night, just days before Dylan vanished, they'd had a terrible argument. She had taken off the matching jade ring they both wore and hurled it across the room. She had no idea he'd kept it. I was so angry, she whispered. Because I thought you didn't choose me. I did, he said. I just chose her too. And somehow, that hurt more. A knock on the door broke the moment. 10 minutes. Zhang Linghe stood outside. Waiting. Hoping. Dreading. Bai Lu looked toward the door, then back at Dylan. Her voice was quiet, but her words were knives. I loved you, she said. I would have followed you anywhere. I would have raised that child with you if you had told me. I would have forgiven anything, except being forgotten. Dylan's jaw tightened. I never forgot you. But you left me to remember alone, she replied. And then, slowly, she stepped back. I don't know if I'll ever stop loving you, she said. But I do know I can't go through that pain again. And Zhang Linghe, he never made me feel abandoned. Not once. Dylan's heart shattered, but he nodded. I just needed to hear it. From you. She stared at him for a long moment. Now you have. The door creaked open. Linghe stood there, his face unreadable. Bai Lu walked toward him, and didn't stop. She passed through the threshold and collapsed into his arms. Linghe held her tight, eyes still locked with Dylan's over her shoulder. You got your answer, he said flatly. Dylan nodded, fighting tears. Yeah. I did. And then, just like he had done years ago, he turned and walked away. Later that night. The city buzzed below them. Inside the bedroom, Bai Lu lay curled beside Linghe. He didn't speak. He simply ran his fingers through her hair, over and over again, as if memorizing the feel of her all over again. Do you believe me now? She asked softly. He didn't respond right away. I want to, he whispered. I chose you. You also said you still love him. I can't unfeel history, she said. But I'm not living in it anymore. Linghe turned to her, eyes raw. If he hadn't come back tonight, would you have ever told me you still had feelings for him? I don't know, she said honestly. Maybe I would have buried them so deep even I forgot. But you deserve more than someone who buries truths. He took her hand. Then give me everything. All the pain, all the mess. I'll take it. Just don't make me doubt again. She looked at him, really looked, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel like a victim of Dylan's choices.